Hi, everybody. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Hi, everyone. Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hello, Mr. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Where have you been? Hello, Facebook family, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram people. What's going on? So, you're welcome. If y'all see me, I'm swallowing it out. So I just got a very, very special order from one of my VA clients, and she placed an order with the one and only leak finger underscore. And my favorites. I'm telling you, y'all, how do you not feel loved? How do you not feel loved? I think I'm obsessed with leak fingers food. What can I say? I'm a Nigerian girl. See, I've lived in this country 21 years. 2002. 21 years. To myself, I just don't, I don't get it. Over 2 decades, I cannot do American food. I just can't. Like, the closest I can do is, soul food, which is not really healthy. But it's just not gonna work. But anyway, come on in, everybody. Happy Thursday. If you're just joining us, this is Attorney 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕, immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all states. It doesn't matter what state you live in. Got an immigration case. If it's a case that we handle, we can and do represent immigration clients in all 50 states. I know I talk pretty fast, but that information is on the screen on YouTube and Facebook and on our website, 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕.com. How was everybody's week? How's everybody's week been? Because tomorrow is Friday, y'all. Tomorrow is Friday. Can you imagine? You just joined in. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Welcome to whoever it is that just coming on the show for the first time. Okay, where's my glasses? Anyway, so we are doing questions tonight. So just put in your questions, people. Everybody's income questions. Don't someone sent my assistant. Well, Lydia takes about social media. She was like, I was asking a question on Tuesday. I didn't finish my question. So can I continue with free consultation? No. So ask the question now. But anyway, welcome in. Come on in, everyone. How is everybody doing? How's your week been? I hope you've had a blessed week, a favored week. And even if things did not fall into place, that's because God is not done with you yet. So keep moving, keep going until he's, the Bible says the land shall fall for you pleasant places. So until you see that, God ain't done with you yet. So just keep going. That's all. Keep going. And it shall be as God has ordained for you. There's no one who can change what is in store for you. But you look, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Whether the enemy likes it or not, it's going to happen. Well, anyway, welcome in. Once again, I'm Attorney 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. And that is because 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 is my former married name, but still my legal professional name. Yeah, I had to put that in the divorce clause. Like, I get to keep that last name. But then again, my ex-husband doesn't care, like, whatever. So 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 means, because my maiden name is Samuel. So our contact information is 334-341-4475. If you need to schedule, we have a promotion going on now, people, a birthday special promotion for the 30 minutes option. So I don't know how long I will keep that up for, but it's still on. Our regular 30 minutes is $130, but right now for a very, very limited time, we have that going 30 minutes for $100. If you go, but you have to go on a website. You've got to go on a website. That's how you can get that. Once you go on our website, it's on the banner. Just click it, and it will take you directly to the page. Yeah, it would take you directly to the page to schedule your consultation so we can talk about your case. But text us on the same number, 334-341-4475. Same number on WhatsApp. You can contact us on our website, on all platforms, on social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at Olale Immigration. All right, people. Everybody's in calling questions, Yeah, let's talk immigration, y'all. Looking for juicy so I can see. So I can see. Oh my God, tell me about your week, people. What's been going on? Any news? Any good news for us? Well, this is a forum where we share good news. So this week I've had 5 green cards approved this week. That is just amazing. God is wonderful. God is just wonderful. I'm telling you. It's been a month of greatness, and I know that God is not done with us yet. Wherever you are, still hoping and believing and trusting, it doesn't matter if you're hoping against hope. It's going to work out. Like today, we sent out 6 VAR appeal cases, and I'm hoping against some of them is like, but I'm hoping against hope. Thank you. That God will show us favor. I'm telling you, I've seen God move in mysterious ways. I'm going like, hey, Baba God, I see you. Anyway, all right, let's talk immigration, everyone. Put your questions in the comment section. I usually just go around. So tonight we're doing questions strictly. I will try to get through all the questions. Some of the questions I could not get to on Tuesday. So let us take care of that today. Okay. Do you know? I'm happy to see you again. Thank you. So a lot of people have different, like, unique usernames. So I know some people will tell me, hey, I'm the ones that's the one I can know, but I don't know if we've met before. I have a question. Do you know which states offer more public benefits with prima facie? I don't. Because federal benefits obviously is going to be the same, but as far as what each state offers, that's going to be state dependent, and depends on what state you live in. I can tell you what my state of Alabama offers, and that's because I work for the Department of Human Resources, so I can tell you. But as far as what states offers the most, that's not a question I can answer. Okay, all right. Let me put this. Hey, I got a question. Have an immigration question. So let's go to Instagram. No, TikTok, I should say. Okay. Shall I be a little willing? Hello, hi, Cecilia. Hi, bye. Alwajid. Hi, how are you? Richard, Ekale. One and only Cecilia. We made you know. Right? There's no any other one is a counterfeit. Like for real. What's the first step in applying for spousal green card when you're in the country? It depends on what the status of your spouse is. Disclaimer, general information. If you need anything specific to your case, you've got to set up a proper consultation, but this forum is for general information about your cases or your questions. So you cannot say, hey, Cecilia, no, you can't say Cecilia said you should do something, because this is not specific to anybody's case. But it can be helpful in being able to decide what you need to do in your case, but it's not specific to your case. Okay. So first step is, it depends. First of all, are you married to a citizen? Are you married to a green card holder? Because that makes a difference. If you're talking about whether you've overstayed your visa, how long, whether you're able to file concurrently, meaning you can file an I-130 and a work permit and green card application all at once, But if you're just starting for what the first stage is, it depends on what it is. So those are factors you have to consider to know whether or not you have to just file the I-130 by itself, or if you're able to file a complete one-step adjustment status package, which is a concurrent filing with the companion applications concurrently filed with the underlying petition, which is usually the I-130. If someone calls me Bisola, that's somebody that knows me, because a lot of people call me Abby. So I don't know who CA is. Thanks for all your help towards everyone. Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you very much. Your tattoo is dope. I have. Thank you. A lot of people that see me are like, it doesn't match. Like, how are you gonna have that? Someone actually told me that Christians should not have Christians are not supposed to have tattoos. She must have been a pastor. Pastor. If your whole work under construction goes, if it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody, but for me, I love it because it tells a story. Well, thank you. Good evening, Mr. Richards. Okay. My I-485 was moved from NBC to my local field office. What can I expect next? If that happens, generally, that's because they may schedule an interview. Because normally, if they're not going to schedule an interview, then it's not usually forwarded to the field office. That may be, not telling you that that's it's going to be, but for the most part, that's usually what happens. And then you would expect to receive an interview notice from the field office. Talk about the tattoo. Are you talking about the one on my, like, right here? Well, if you moisturize us, so please don't see. Is that the one you're talking about? Because I got, listen. But if you're talking about this one, it's a lion head, and it has Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, yada, 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 yeah, that verse of the Bible. Is it true that you have to have a certain amount of money in your account to sponsor a spouse? It's not in your account. There are income requirements for depending on the number of people in your household. So there is the poverty guidelines that you must follow. So if you're going to be following the I-864, there's a minimum amount of income you have to make that you have to be above that minimum amount of income based on the number of people in your household. If you do not meet that, then you need a joint sponsor. Okay, let's see. I don't know why this is always jumping. Okay, there we go. First step. Okay, you already asked that question. Can you get a work permit without receiving a prima facie? If you filed an I-485 based on your pending petition, then and you filed an I-765 work permit application, a C9 category, then you can. But for the most part, hardly do you not get a prima facie determination in your case. If in my cases, whenever I have a case where we haven't received a prima facie by month 5 or 6, I usually will send an email to the Vermont Service Center like, hey, you people, what's going on? We haven't received a prima facie in this case. Have you guys sent it? Have you not sent it? What's going on? Because I would believe that initial review should have, resulted in a prima facie. But it doesn't mean that you cannot get a work permit before that. One has nothing to do with the other. Love your hair. Thank you. If someone has been a resident since 2019 but has not gotten the final 10-year green card yet, okay, what's the question? But has gotten 48-month extension, can they apply for citizenship or for kids? Okay, so the time you spend, T, you good? The time you spend on as a conditional resident counts towards your legal permanent resident, albeit conditional, is still counting towards when you can apply for citizenship. And a conditional resident is able to petition for their children. Now, obviously, if God forbid your tenure is not granted, that nullifies the I-130 petition you file for your derivative beneficiaries, but nothing stops you from doing that even while an I-751 is pending. So filing for citizenship would depend on if you're filing based on a marital union, meaning 3 years, you're still living as a citizen. You've been a legal permanent resident for 3 years, counting the time you were on conditional residency period, which is 2 years. Then you file after 3 years. If you're married to a green card holder or you're divorced, then you have to wait 5 years. Some people actually get to the 5-year mark, whether or not they're just married to the U.S. citizen spouses, just because of how long it's taken USCIS to process I-751 petitions. Can you help someone who has been in the U.S. after signing the voluntary departure and who is on TPS? Help with what? What is it that you're looking for as a relief? Okay. Does my spouse need to submit tax returns if her just came out of... Does my spouse need to submit tax returns if she just came out of bankruptcy? If every petitioning spouse who files a spousal petition is required to submit an I-864. If you do not have that, financial problems, or you didn't file taxes, or your income is low, you're still required to submit your tax documentation. If it does not meet up to the income requirements, then you will need a joint sponsor. But every I-130 petitioner is required to submit an I-864 affidavit of support. How long does the approval notice take for the petition for fiancé call for interview process? Sunny D, can you rephrase your question? Okay. Waiting 33 months for VAT approval, how much longer? You're really close to about the time that is going to take. So I cannot tell you how many calls and emails that we have received on the what I call a miracle VAT approval that we filed in March, approved in August, early this month. Yeah, 5 months. It is just God. That's all I can say. It is. It's it's just. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and take credit for anything. Hello, Miss Illinois Sanctuary. It's just God. That's just how God works. Look who's early today. Ha, in your face. So, my assistants are having a front desk are having to tell people that it's nothing that can be done to. I mean, of course, God did. He can do it for anyone. Hello, Miss Dana. But that takes longer than 5 months. That's the reality. It's anywhere from 33 months to 36 months for the VAT petition itself. Yeah, she's late today and we're early. For the VAT petition itself. So the way it works is even if you file a green card application concurrently, the green card application does not get adjudicated. You're able to file a work permit and work and travel while your case is pending. However, the VAT petition itself is what actually takes up to 3 years. When that is now adjudicated, then Vermont Service Center transfers your case to the National Benefit Center. They decide whether or not they're going to schedule an interview. If an interview is going to be scheduled, then they forward your file to your field office, right? If you're not going to schedule an interview and you haven't submitted a medical examination report, you get an RFE for that. If you've already submitted everything, then the next thing you should expect generally should be, thank you, Mr. Generally should be a green card. So that's the process. So the 33 months really just applies to the VAT petition itself. So, does my spouse need to? Okay, I've seen that. Let's see. I'm trying not to miss anyone's question, unless it's a question you have written like twice. Okay, waiting. Good evening. Okay, is 2 years I'm waiting for my BIA appeal decision. How long could take more. There's no telling. Sometimes I personally usually advise my clients, let's just refile, because you can't be there till Jesus comes back. And there's something that goes pretty fast, but there's no telling. Okay. Hello. Did green card holder can file for his wife? Can a green card holder file for his wife who's already living in the U.S.? If the wife is in a valid non-immigrant status, then generally yes. If the wife is out of status, then you can file the I-130. That's the basis. So I-130 is not the green card. I-130 is the basis for you filing the green card. That has to be approved before the green card itself is approved. So if the spouse is out of status and you're a green card holder, the I-130 can be approved, but the I-485, which is a green card application, will not be approved because they're out of status and they would need a waiver and have to apply for their immigrant visa at the embassy. Citizen filed for kid 21 years plus in the U.S. I-130 filed in May. I-485 petition rejection for did no visa. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can rephrase what you're saying. So it looks like a citizen filed for their child who's 21, over 21. The child is in the United States. You filed a concurrent application. USCIS has returned the I-485 and kept the I-130 because, first of all, I believe that is, don't quote me on it, but I think that is an F1. Hold on one second. I'll check it real quick. I think that's an F1 category for sons and daughters of citizens. Let's see. Yeah, unmarried sons and daughters of U.S. citizens, F1 category. And they're working on cases received in 2015, meaning your I-485 or must have been filed on or before January 2015. And so they obviously will return it back because there's no visa date, visa number available. But bigger than that, if the child is your 21, your son or daughter who is over the age of 21, if they're not in any legal status, it doesn't matter if their priority date is current, they will not be able to get a green card in the country. Very simple. That's a preference category. Only immediate relatives are exempt from overstay. Adult sons and daughters of U.S. citizens are not. So if they haven't maintained a status, they can't even get a green card in the country. That's why you have to consult with a lawyer. Because if you had consulted with a lawyer first, you would know that you couldn't have filed a 485 at this time. Okay. Oops. Oh my Lord! I think I just lost you on. Oh, that was. I think I just lost everybody on. Wait. Did I lose you guys? Did I lose you guys on Facebook? Somebody, yes, no. I can't believe I forgot I had him. Gotta love technology. Can somebody let me know? I don't think I did. Did I lose you guys on Facebook? Yes, no. Oh, Miss Christine, I got your package from Lick Finger. She ordered me fresh peppered snail. Y'all, that's way to my heart. Can someone let me know? YouTube, Facebook, can you guys see me or am I just talking to myself? I think I lost everyone. Yes, no? Ooh. I may have lost you on. Okay, I still see movement. Somebody, anybody? Let me see if I see that. Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. Okay, let's see. A filed for VAWA and I-797 approved. What is I-797 approved? I got a new EAD card also. What next? When do I get my green card? What is I-797? I don't know what that is. Thanks for the clarification. It's very helpful. You're welcome. Can someone with a TPS have the chance to change his status after being married to a U.S. citizen? Good question. If you're on TPS, and it doesn't matter whether you came in legally or without inspection, as long as your country is designated for TPS, you qualify based on the requirements. Whether or not you now can adjust your status will depend on if you came in legally. If you came in legally, then there shouldn't be any problem for you being able to adjust your status because you had a legal entry, meaning you have an I-94. If you did not come in legally, now you can apply for advanced parole. Once you apply for advanced parole, a TPS holder can apply for advanced parole. You make a trip out, and when you come back in, you're going to be inspected. So you would have a legal entry at that point. Once you gain a legal entry, then you can adjust status if you're married to a citizen. I hope that helps. How long can somebody wait after collecting work permit for green card to be approved? People, I say it all the time. Your work permit has nothing to do with when your green card is going to be approved. They are mutually exclusive. One has nothing to do with the other. Okay. Let's see. How long after I respond to an RFE will I get a work permit? Response to RFE has nothing to do with how long it's going to take to issue your work permit. If a J1 trainee is facing difficulties and being mistreated, who can help in this situation? You need to sit down with a lawyer and figure out what your options are. My fiance has a B1, B2 visa. Can I apply for a K1 visa? If I'm assuming you are a citizen, if your fiance is already in the country with a B1, B2, you can apply for a K1 visa. The K1 visa, the point of it is for them to be able to come in and get married, and you file for a green card for them. If they're already in the country, you can apply for a K1 visa for them while they are already physically present in the country. Okay, well, I'm just going to take a couple before. Okay, how long do I sit there? Okay, I don't want to miss it. Okay, my fiance, I already did that. Okay. Okay, the green card, I already answered that. You're welcome. 1 year, no prima facie. Is that normal? I respond to your RFE. It's not like it's abnormal. I just don't have any case where I have never received a prima facie. And that's because I just don't sit. Listen, to know me to know. I don't sit still. If I don't have what I think I should have, I'm going to find out. I'm going to ask why. I'm going to email them like, hey, I mean, Vermont Service Center probably, all of them probably know my email by like, Sicilian, no, Auntie, I shall feel less because I'm going to find out. I'm going to ask them on behalf of my client. For instance, they sent a 936 receipt notice, and they've been doing that error so many times. And that's happening with my clients who are from Nigeria. On the receipt notice, they're writing Niger, Niger, rather than Nigeria. I don't know why. Maybe the letters I and A for I don't know. They sold it to somebody and decided we're just going to take that out. So it's been where I just emailed them and say, hey, y'all made an error. Please look at what we filed. It says Nigeria. Why are you cutting out the I and A? And they'll issue me, they resend the receipt notice. But recently, so someone that responded to me from Vermont Service Center saying, If you want to correct a correction done to the receipt notice, then you have to. We don't address amended petitions or what email. And I read email like no, oh no, who the hell are you? When did you Tracy? Hi Andy. No, I did not make the error. Like y'all could see it was spelled Nigeria, but somehow you decided we're not going to put the I on A and send us something that says Niger for someone who's from Nigeria. That's not an amended petition. That's telling you to fix the error you made. And let me hold this in the sense because I ain't sitting back. Like we're gonna rack it out. So if I haven't received a prima facie on the case, I would email them like, hey, I'm 𝐸𝐴𝐻𝐸𝐻, what's going on? I haven't received this. What's going on? And I'll get a response back to let me know we're pressing it or we're going to review the case, whatever the case may be, but they would always respond. Okay. Waiting 5 years for a asylum interview. What should I do to get an interview? You can do an expedite request for them to set an interview date, but you're not the only one. A lot of people are waiting. Mandamus that would help. That's an option you have, because if they deny your expedite request, the option you have will be maybe an ombudsman inquiry and or filing the writ of mandamus in court against them. Hello, Miss Creasy. How are you? How's my baby girl doing? Okay. I got approved for my fiance. How long will they call for? It's ridiculous. I've got I want to say 7 that we've got approvals between May and August. I can understand the ones we got in August, but the ones in May, we're still waiting for them to send us a welcome letter and give us the case ID number. You wonder why I have gray hair? That's why. But so what I'm doing is just constantly, not constant, but if we have another 30 days to pass, I'll send another email through the Ask NVC inquiry form. Like, okay, y'all, what's going on? Yes, the approval notices say it's valid for 4 months, but because they know the delays on their end, the consular officer has the ability and discretion to extend that approval notice. So it's not like you're not going to get it. It's just that the delay is everywhere. So it's not just you. My husband's citizenship interview was canceled on the day of the interview. It's been 10 months with no response. Okay, what's your question? Good night, everyone. I love when people are polite. What age medical is required for children? What do you mean, what age medical is required? I'm not sure I understand your question. Well, will there be a change in the October visa bulletin for F2A? We don't know. We've got to wait and see. We've not even started September yet. So we're about a month in before, about a month away before we know what's going to happen in October. I filed for a petition for my wife and daughter, but only for my daughter. Only my daughter received her permanent residence. So what's your question? What would happen if I miss my biometrics due to not getting mail? Contact USCIS immediately and let them know, because you don't want. It could be deemed that you abandoned your application if you do not show up for your biometrics. So you want to contact them and let them know that you did not receive it. How long is the K1 visa taking? We applied 7 months ago and no word. If you're talking about the I-129F stage, the first stage with the USCIS, they're averaging anywhere from 10 months to 15 months. Can a child over... Oh, let me... Wait, where did you go? Where did you go? Okay, there we go. Can a child over 21 adjust their status if the mother is a U.S. citizen, if the child is in a valid non-immigrant status when the property date becomes current? If a person is married and not yet applied for adjustment of status and ICE picks them up, can they get what? Okay. A certain minimum number of referrals you have to attach to your national interest waiver case to be approved? No. We got so I love national interest waiver cases. I do. I don't know why. Maybe because it's very, every case is challenging, but you've got to be so creative with national interest waiver because it's not a cookie cutter, no one size fits all. So the one we got approved yesterday, we filed that in March 29th to be precise. And the reason why I remember that date so well is it was the very first of the kind of occupation. So that was for an economist. Never done that before, but he had so much qualifications. It was like, why not? I mean, that's what I live for. I'm like, well, let's take a shot at it. You never know. And it's amazing how you get so creative. And so filed on March 29th, I was so expecting an RFP in his case. Like I already told him, like it's just not the normal in the sense of it's not a data analyst, cloud engineer, pharmacist. But I was like, I was so expecting an RFP. But God decided, no, we ain't getting an RFP in this one. Straight up approval yesterday. I was like, what? So that just tells me, don't doubt if you qualify. Obviously, you have to be non-valid status, but you may qualify. So don't let anybody knock your occupation down. Let's see what you have as far as your okay, let's see, I don't know what this is. As your evidence, but there's no minimum number of referrals to attach. VAWA application approved, but no green card yet. What do I do? The VAWA petition is not the green card application. If you did not file an I-485, that's the green card application itself. So just filing the VAWA case, the VAWA petition does not give you a green card. It just gives you the basis to file a green card. So if you haven't filed your green card application, then that's what you need to do. What if you never received permanent resident for your wife after filing? Sit down with a lawyer and discuss your specific case. Let's see. VAR was approved since June last year, but no green card yet. Please, what is next? There's no telling how long it's taking. Everybody's case is different. It depends on a lot of things. What are they planning to schedule an interview for your case? That's usually what makes it stay the longest, because it goes to the National Benefit Center. They have to decide if they're going to schedule an interview. If they're going to do that, then that means you're going to get stuck with the backlog in your field office. If they're not going to schedule an interview, then it should be pretty fast. But as far as why it's not being approved, that's just not a question I can answer. My daughter filed for me, submitted medical and everything, and it's 10 months now. No work permit. If you go on USCIS.gov/present times, it looks like I think that C9 is still processing. Make sure you chose the right category first of all. So it just depends, and it's taking a while. Listen, y'all, the frustration I have as an immigration attorney, it's a daily occurrence. Like sometimes I want to pull my whole hair out just dealing with USCIs, but then I have to remind myself that I don't think I'm going to look nice bald. Haven't tried it, but I don't think so. So I have to keep the hair. But seriously, it's just frustrating, time consuming, and that's just what we have going on right now. I don't tire. Okay, so you filed the I-485. You just have to wait. It's a normal to have biometrics for about twice. I did in June, and they sent another one to do yesterday. That's not the first I've heard of it, but just make sure you go. Okay. All right. Let's go to Facebook and YouTube. Hello, Miss Christine. Thank you. Yes, I did get my order today. My special birthday present. You're the best, and that's why I'm sniffing because I'm eating half of the snail. Yeah, my kids don't really care for, uh, this, really, really traditional Nigerian soup and stew. They'll eat it. They just don't care for the smell. So it's just TJ. It's like, but then you eat it. So the cooking of it or the heating it up is what drives them insane. And there I am, just being just wallowing in fantasy, like feel like you're in Nigeria. There's nothing like Nigerian food. But thank you, Miss Christine. That was very thoughtful, and I appreciate that. My mom has overstayed with her green card in Ghana for 3 years. She now wants to come to visit. Can she come, or she has to do something? I have had people being able to come into the country even though they have stayed more than a year. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just telling you what I've seen happen. But they've been lucky, because once you've been out of the country for more than a year and you did not apply for a re-entry permit, you are deemed to have abandoned your permanent residency status. So you may have to go back to the embassy and apply for what we call it an SB1, returning resident visa, to be able to come in. But I cannot say whether or not she can come in. That's taking a risk, but that's just what the law is. It would be deemed that she's abandoned her green card. So you just don't know what's going to happen. Thank you, Miss Kristen. I sure, as I've said, enjoyed it very much. Trust me on that. Hello, Miss Chrissy. So that's Miss Christine, and then there's Miss Chrissy. Okay, so Maricelo, Miss Chrissy is saying New York has quite a number of state benefits. So good night, sister friend. Good night. How are you? I have a VAR case. My case was updated to request for additional evidence was sent to me on USCIS website. USCIS refused to send it to me. Please, do you know what is going on with the case? It happened 5 months ago. I would say it is time for you to get a lawyer, because a lot of people get stuck in that situation. If you call them, they can't give you much information, but they should be able to say, hey, we're going to send it to you because you didn't receive it. The problem with calling is VAR is a confidential case type where they don't know who they're talking to. So if you cannot verify who your identity over the phone, which you cannot, it's hard for them to send anything to you. As an attorney, we have an email that we can use where they verify who we are and whether or not you're representing that client. And so they can email us a copy of that RFE or send another copy. So I would say, I don't want to say your name, but your question. I would say go ahead and try to get an attorney in your case, because that helps you. It makes it a lot easier. So I was talking to someone who wanted me to get on the case, and like I don't ever take a case that has been pending when you filed yourself or someone else filed. With the very first thing I have to do is what we call a FOIA request. I don't. It's just I don't think it's even responsible taking over a case that I don't know anything about. I don't care if you think you have a copy of your file. It's not what USCIS is going by. I have to get exactly what they're using directly from them through the FOIA request. But there are some times where all the client wants is just to be able to contact USCIS on their behalf in cases like that. That's another thing you can get an attorney for, so that they are the representative and they are able to communicate between you and Vermont Service Center, because it makes life a lot easier. That's something you can consider. My asylum was denied. Can my denied asylum case be reopened due to the prima facie determination? The prima facie has nothing to do with your denied asylum. So what usually happens when an asylum is denied is you either you refer to immigration court, and I'm guessing that you probably already had your day in court and you were ordered to removed. But obviously you're here. That's what I'm guessing. That's what it sounds like. Because you said it was denied, so it was, can you be reopened? Reopening your removal order, you've got to show that you've got grounds to be able to reopen and have a relief that you're going to be getting. I haven't seen prima facie being sufficient for reopening. I've seen prima facie be sufficient to terminate proceedings that it's still ongoing or PD request. But when you've been ordered removed, I haven't seen that, unless I've seen where when the VAP petition has been approved, then that is a route that you can take. But your best to sit down with a lawyer to know exactly your case background. And that's exactly what I'm saying. A FOIA request gives me exactly everything about your history. So in your case, if you come to my office and say, hey, can you take over my case? I can't. I have to do a FOIA request first, because I've got to know what I'm doing, right? I can just, I'm not saying you're lying. I just can't go by, oh, this is what you think, because I'm the lawyer. I know what the legal implications will be based on your record. So it makes perfect sense, and being diligent and responsible to get a copy of it. Obviously, it's a separate service on its own, but that's just what I do if it's a case that I didn't start myself. I came in legally, but my I-131 got denied with pending I-485 2 weeks ago. What can be the problem? USCIS gets it wrong sometimes. That happened to a client of mine recently. They said she didn't come in illegally, even though a copy of the I-485 receipt notice was included, and a copy of the I-94. Oh, no. They said we didn't, she didn't come in legally, and then we didn't have a basis to file an I-131. So not only did she come in legally because a copy of the I-94 was included in the package, but she has a pending I-485. Oh yeah, it said we didn't pay the filing fee because she has no other basis for not paying the file or for a fee waiver. Obviously, we paid the $1,225 for the I-485, but they returned it. And when USCIS does that, I go into a different, like, y'all don't want to see me mad. I'm telling you, I'm not. See how much I smile? It's the complete opposite when I'm angry. And whenever I get to type in a way to US, because he just wasted my time. Now God put everything to the side and address this foolishness that they decided to do. So they make errors. If you came in legally, you have your I-94, go ahead and resend it. You just have to. That's just what we see, Yeah. Thank you for what you're doing to help. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hello, Hash. Where have you been? I have a question regarding a lot. Zelle and the bank closed your without affect. Okay, you got to rephrase your question. I have no clue what you're asking. Okay. Helen's my favorite lawyer. I hate not meeting you before I started my case. That's okay. God has a reason for everything. That's there's many other highly competent and experienced and extraordinary attorneys out there just trying to do the same work that we all do. I'm currently a grad student here in the U.S. and I'm 23. My mom is a green card holder. Is it possible for her to file a petition for me? Your mom can, as long as you're not married. But the real question is, are you going to be able to apply for a green card based on that? And right now, let me see. So that is F2B category. Sons and daughters 21 years of or older, children of sons and daughters of permanent residents. F2B, they're working on cases that were filed on or before September 22, 2015. And so that means that even if she files it now, there is about an 8-year wait to be eligible to apply for the green card. And when you're eligible to apply for the green card, you must remain unmarried and you must also remain in valid status. Even if she becomes a citizen, it doesn't change anything because immediate relatives, Children 21 years or older of citizens are not immediate relatives. Okay. All right, let's go to TikTok. Let's go to Instagram. Not TikTok. Okay. Let's see. Hello, good trillions. How are you? I was a guy who asked about a short trip to Florida. I was able to tender my E80 to the TSA and it was accepted. Thank you for the advice and guidance. You're welcome. I usually don't say, hey, go ahead and travel, but I'm glad that worked out for you. I mean, that's the only way you could have found out. So that's good. Hello, Miss Olani. How are you? I need help in getting the marriage affidavit for customary. I know you spoke about it before, but I don't know if you have anyone in Nigeria or refer. It's not something you get. It's an affidavit that you just draft with very essential key points, like when the customer marriage happened, who were the people present, what did they bring, how much the bride price was, when the bride price was returned, the date the bride price was returned, who returned it, who was there a meeting held, and what is the position of the person that accepted the bride price, and so on. Affidavit. There is no legal requirement. There's no documentation required to show, or there's no set documentation, unlike a statutory marriage, a high court marriage, that it's decree nisi, decree absolute. In the customary marriage, there is no required documentation to show the dissolution. So affidavit is fine. If it's an Islamic marriage, affidavit saying I divorced you 3 times is fine. So it's nothing. I did a video too that a lot of people are going now to get customary court decrees. What's happened is USCIS is not going to those customary courts to verify if you have, because if you say something was recorded in court, then you've got to know that they're going to go find out if it's part of the court record. Why? Just don't make things harder than they should be. Yeah. Okay. What are the VA I-45 interview questions? There's no VA I-45. I-45 is I-45. Oh, that reminds me. I just saw somebody say, hello, Mr. John. Hello, Mr. John and Mr. Damilola. Where's my pen? Because I forget. Okay, let's see. Always proud of you, Mama Basam. Thank you. So on Monday, my birthday, I just turned 45 3 days ago. Yay for TJ and I were having a conversation. TJ, I think he's sleeping. We're having a conversation earlier today. Because I'm not big in social media for kids. Like I'm a Nigerian woman. I'm a Nigerian mother. Like my kids have told me that if they can survive my parenting, they can survive anything. I take that as a compliment. That's that's the truth. So we were talking earlier on. So he's been asking about Snapchat and all. So I was like, you know what? Your dad's going to deal with that. I'll just leave that to your dad. I ain't going to get involved. But as I expected, lo and behold, he was able to convince his father because that's his buddy. So he was telling me earlier on about how I was like, how is Snapchat different from Instagram? I know. Lokosha, this kid is going to tell me that my generation are the ones on Instagram. His generation, they're the ones on Snapchat. So Lokosha, our about the same age group. That's what he was saying in a nutshell. But there's no shame in our game. So I turned 45 3 days ago, and I have a nephew, Amari, my older brother's son. He's a twin, and I'm going to get emotional again. So my dad, those who went to school with me, if you know anything about me, you know that I was a true daddy's girl. Like, wrong that my father would say was wrong. And I think that's part of the problem I had, because it looks like I can't keep it, man. I'm just kidding, because I'm the one that tells the men to go. But my point is, I don't think my dad ever told me no about anything in my entire life. Um, but the one thing he required was education. And I mean, he didn't have any problem with me. I was too. I love school. I love school. Now I did a lot of crash program exam wise, and a lot of those did, and it worked until, well, there was one time it didn't work. But anyway, so my dad and I had that father daughter relationship that he just couldn't explain. And my dad was a twin. Um, my dad was a twin, and he was the Taiwo in his with part of the twin. And so my older brother now has a twin, um, and Amari is the Tai. And when I tell y'all, I don't know if my mom is here. This kid, every single time I see him, it's like seeing my father. It's like seeing my father every single time I see Amari. And he's also Taiwo. And he's got my father's look. He looks exactly like you see him, you see my dad. And the way he smiles, like if I'm on the phone with his mom or my mom and he hears my voice, I'm inside from anywhere. I mean, when we went to London last month, you would have thought that if I had him myself, we couldn't be closer. And he would just come, and the way my dad used to look at me and just smile and just was satisfied with me just being near him. That's the way Amari is. And so on Monday, on my birthday, as soon as I saw him, the way he smiled and just kept looking at me, I just started crying. Y'all, I'm not, hard, cold-hearted. Yeah. Because USCIS are fine. I just started crying because it was just like looking at my father's face. And it was just a very emotional time. And he just kept looking, even as I was very emotional, he just kept looking and just smiling. I was like, wow. Listen, I wish I could bring him on, but y'all don't understand. I'm sure some of you do, but it's so when you say Mama Basamu, when I remember my dad, it's like he's here and constantly and just in another form, even though it's the same name. And since my dad passed away, it's going to be 8 years. It's going to be 8 years, October 27. The day he passed away, October 27, 2015, was the very first day I started seeing numbers 1111 or 111. 1111, 111, until today, 8 years later. If I'm trying to make a decision, if I'm thinking of something, if I need a confirmation of something, y'all, I'm not kidding you. If I show you my phone, I have over 1,000 screenshots of 1111, 111, 222, 333, but mostly 1111, 111. So yeah, I digress. But yeah, when you come up about something, there's a history behind that. Yeah. How long is the process for sibling sponsorship? Till rapture happens. Because it's like 15 years. What are the options for Canadian citizens to migrate to the US? That's a very broad question. Let's see. Good evening, Miss Abdena. How are you? I'm currently a grad student in, okay, that's the same person who asked a question on there. Yeah, please share this video to your friends and family. We would really appreciate it because y'all, we ask, especially when we do questions, you never know who has the same question. So please share, like, follow our page, share, and let people know, hey, if you're looking for a question session in immigration, go through this video. You may get the answers you need from there. My friend is a U.S. citizen and she wants to file for a sibling. What are her options? It's taking forever. That's just what it is. Siblings F4 category is the longest wait. It is taken 15 years to be able to apply for the green card. And if they are in the country, then that means they have to maintain a non-immigrant status for that number of years. So, yeah. Do you still have links to a lawyer that can help me with customer affidavit you spoke about? I have never spoken about a customer affidavit with a lawyer. No, because you don't need, you got to go listen. And I don't remember. There's no reason why I would talk about customer affidavit for a lawyer, because you don't need, there's no set format for an affidavit. Maybe you asked me to do it for free, and I said no because that's something I do as well. It's we can draft an affidavit for you with the key essential key points that need to be on it. Yeah, Miss Eleanor Sanctuary is late. I got caught up in the study. Listen, girl, I ain't mad at you. Yes. Oh, yes. We represent immigration clients. Once again, I've said that before, and saying it again. I get that question every day. Alabama, because that's what the law is. So I'm licensed in Alabama and New York. I want to use my Alabama license. Well, I'm physically present in Alabama, but it doesn't matter what state you live in. Immigration's federal practice, or an attorney can represent you as long as they're licensed in one state. Okay. I can relax now. Over to you. Your job isn't easy. Thank you, Miss Ben. I know. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for holding it down. You're gonna love this, girls. I'm telling you. So yes, contact us 334-341-4475, olalayalawfirm.com. That's where, and once again, we're having a promotion for the 30 minutes consultation for $100 for a limited time. So really, I can just end it because I'm crazy like that. Never know. All right, let's see. Can I file for my daughter? She is 18 years old. What is your status? Yeah, I know notice of approval is 797, but the person said they got an approved 797. But the approval on what? I guess that's what I should have asked, because but no EAD, frustrated, going home, will case be thrown out? You can't go home. Sit down with a lawyer. So hear me, people. A lot of people are frustrated when they file for EAD with a VAL case and I-485, and it's taking about a year. It's taking about 2 years, and then when I consult with them, the very first thing I ask you, if you tell me you filed a VAL case, filed an I-485 and a work permit application, and it's been over 18 months, the very first thing I tell you to do is get me a receipt notice. And I can almost say 99% of the time, it's the C31 category EAD that they chose in the 751, in the 765. The thing is, a C31 EAD is not going to be approved until your VAL petition is approved. So you may be waiting 18. I had a guy that I consulted with again earlier this week, and he actually has an attorney. The attorney filed the paperwork for him, and he says, "Hey, I've been waiting for 2 years. What's going on in my EAD?" Come to find out, what those chosen was a C31 EAD. You ain't going to get a C31 EAD until the VAL petition has been approved. So that means you may be waiting about 3 years before that happens. If you want an EAD while your case is pending, not only do you have to file it for an I-485, make sure that what you selected is a C9 based on the pending I-485. So that's what I would say to go start with. Don't give up. You can't just up and go. And if you've come this far, why would you want to just leave and just call it quits? No, quitting is not an option. We don't quit. No, we don't. We stay till Jesus comes back. Okay, let's see. Hello, 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓. Okay. Well, meaning Yusuf, maybe that's what's going on, but I can't speak to generally. No disclaimer, no specific answers to anybody's case. This is just general. Hello, Whoa boy, how are you? Can a work authorization order through marriage, changing to VAL, still renew her papers through marriage? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. I'm going to try to rephrase that and let me know if that is what you're asking. I think you're asking if someone who initially filed a regular marriage case now changed to a VAL, switch over to a VAL petition, and you're carrying along your I-485. Are you still able to renew your work authorization based on that pending I-485, even though you've converted your VAL case? Is that what you're asking? Let me know if that's what you're asking, so I'm not giving you the wrong answer. A friend filed a marriage-based application early this month, and she's yet to get receipt of notice. Early this month, which this is just the third, yeah, this is just the third week in August, so it's not. I usually don't have any that we have pending more than 3 weeks for a regular marriage-based case, but it doesn't mean it cannot happen. So I usually would say give it 30 days. Hello, Mr. Abu. How are you? How have you been? Okay, so if someone receives an RFE for medical exam, what does it mean? And does the person have to add extra evidence in regards to the marriage? I have a philosophy about USCIs and immigration cases. Do not answer or do not offer information when you've not been asked that for that information. Stick to what you've been asked and produce the evidence you were requested to produce. Do not give more than what you were requested to produce. That's one thing. That's no, immigration rule 101. So if they ask you for a medical, send in your medical. End of story. For the most part, that has been signaling that your interview may be waived. However, I'm also seeing some cases where the request for interview was sent, the request for RFU for the medical was sent, and then they still go ahead and schedule an interview. So what would happen if USCIS collects my green card during the oath ceremony? I already booked a flight to travel out of the country. What can the person do? They will give you your naturalization certificate. If you're able to, and obviously passports are taking forever, but I'm assuming you have your Nigerian passport. I would probably say if you can reschedule your trip and get your naturalization naturalization certificate, and then hopefully you can expedite your passport so that you have something that allows you to come back. And I mean, you can present your naturalization certificate, but that's not a travel document. So you've already waited this long, whoa, boy. I would just say just hold on, and that trip can probably wait, right? What's my nail hurting? Did I break a nail again? Because I'm always breaking a nail. But listen, they already say, where's your green card? I don't remember. Oh, no. I did. I because they asked for it. There's a place you just toss it in. I don't know why. Because they should let us keep it as souvenir. USCIS be trying to, I'm telling you, those people just don't know when to stop. They don't know when to stop. They don't know when to stop. No, they don't. My wife is a green card holder. Can she file for my papers for me while I'm also in the United States? As long as you are in a valid non-immigrant status and the priority date is current. Generation Z for you. Oh yeah, he was saying something about me being generation. I don't like. Listen, boy, go sit down. Go sit down. Generation what? Can you find generation of what? Please tell me I'm old to my face. I know you said you still practice in Nigeria. No, I did not. I did not say I still practice. I'm obviously still an attorney in Nigeria, in the sense of, if you look at the Nigerian Bar Association, you would see my name. Although it's going to be under Abisola Adebola Samuel, because that was my name then. In Nigeria, due process the services or know someone who can help with because okay, I already answered that. Okay. You just answered my question. I think I'm missing to read your video. Yes, you did. Okay. My citizenship interview was canceled on the same day with no reason. What can be the reason? Is almost a year. I don't know. Okay. Okay. All right. Okie dokie, everyone. I think we I think I went through all the questions. Or let me see which ones are here on. Okay, you receive a lot of money through Zelle, and the bank closed your account. Will that affect your immigration case? I can't speak to that because I don't know what is going on. That's just not something I can answer or even give any general response because I don't know. Oh, was never notified about request for RFE and now received an I-751 denial letter. Question: my husband never received or was notified by RFE for his, and today we received a denial letter. Should we go ahead and file 929B or at least try to get a hold of someone from? You're going. There's nothing getting a hold of someone from USCIS is going to help you. You need to go ahead and file a motion to reopen. I was questioned why the child I mentioned in my visa 2016 was not mentioned in my petition. The truth is, oh, I'm so sorry to hear. But did you not tell them that that was the truth? That's the child, which I explained. Okay, you explain. Mentioned he needs to investigate more and case status change to actively review. What should I? Hopefully, it's going to be approved. That's, hopefully, fingers crossed. But if they can verify that information, then I don't see why that there should be any hold up. Does the date of divorce decree matters? Say someone is on adjustment that began in 2022, but divorce is 2023. If USA says my divorce is not valid, can I do another one in US here and will be acceptable? Does the date of divorce matters? I'm not really sure what you mean by does the date matter? So someone is on adjustment that began in 2022, but divorce is, but if I understand what you're saying, you filed an adjustment of status in 2022. So that means you were married to whoever the petitioner is in 2022, but your previous marriage did not conclude until 2023. Is that what you're saying? If that's what you're saying, obviously that's not going to hold water because you cannot be just getting divorced in your previous marriage and then you already filed an adjustment of status. That means you were not legally free to marry your spouse who filed for you. And can you get a divorce? That's what I mean. I'm still trying to figure out why people are going back to Nigeria or your home country to get a divorce when you have been living in the United States and you probably have satisfied the residency requirement. Why in God's name are you going back to Nigeria to get a divorce decree that you know they're going to scrutinize like, they're writing a JAMB exam or something? Explain to me, somebody, anybody. Like, why? Huh? Why? But yeah. So if that's what you're saying, you couldn't have started your adjustment of status in 2022 if your divorce was never final until this year. I'm hoping that's not what you mean. There was a divorce from Lagos, but USCIS said it's not valid. But that's what you said in your previous question. You said, does the date matter? Say someone is an adjustment that began in 2022, but a divorce is 2023. So if USCIS is saying, well, it looks like, because there's this thing they're doing now, right? It started in 2017. Okay. So what does the 2023 have to do with it? So what do you mean by the divorce was in 2023? I'm waiting. Will the fee be refunded if we're able to provide? Oh, okay. Okay. So, Adewale, I think I understand what you're getting at now. Y'all need to help me. You got to ask full questions so I understand. What you're saying is you already have a Nigerian divorce that occurred in 2017, got remarried, you started your adjustment status case last year, and USCIS is now saying that that divorce from 2017 is not valid. Now you're asking that if you get a new divorce from that previous spouse this year in 2023, will it matter in the sense of, can you use that new divorce in your case and continue with that and not affect the adjustment of status, or would you have to start all over again? Is that basically what you're asking? Yes, no? See, I'm patient. It's not to our patient. Any sorrow. Guys, you didn't answer my question. Okay, so what state do you live in? Perfect. What state do you live in? State with language. Okay, Texas. So the courts have been, and case laws have been split on Texas, where just recently, and I think I have some cases that may be affected by that interpretation, where they're saying that even though the state of Texas has common law that allows you, that does not nullify your marriage, when even if it's deemed like you have a previous marriage that was not completely legally terminated, and then when you get re-divorced from that previous spouse, then your current marriage becomes valid. The issue now is, what is the date that your current marriage is deemed to be valid? Is it from the time you got married initially, after taking care of the pre-marriage that now you have a new divorce for, or does it become valid from the date that your new divorce from the previous spouse occurred? I know it probably confused everybody, but that's the best way I can explain it. And there's been there has been decisions, or there have been decisions on both sides, where there's the school of law that says it's retroactive, and there is another that says it's not retroactive, it's from the date that the new divorce happens. If that is how USCIS officer interprets your case, then that means your prior adjustment of status is not going to be valid. You have to refile, but it just depends. Sometimes it's just best to just withdraw everything, refile once you gotten the new divorce, and start all over again. All right, so I'm glad we were able to walk through that. So will the fee be refunded with the I-290B? No, USCIS does not do that, because they don't refund it, because even if they're reopening, that's the way you have to talk to them to reopen it, by filing the 290B, paying the $675, and then they review that case. Can a person, okay, let's see. I don't want to miss, let's see. Okay. Can a person on disability petition for an immigrant spouse? Generally, yes. Okay. If asylum work permit expires, can you renew when your VAW work permit is pending? Greetings to you. Greetings, Mr. Jude. If your asylum work permit expires, can you renew when your VAW work permit is pending? Yes. Okay, let's see. Yeah. All right. So once again, I represent immigration clients in all 50 states. Contact information is 334-341-4475. Website is olalayalawfirm.com. And like I said, we have a 30 minutes immigration promotion going on right now. That's going to be for a very, very limited time. So you want to take advantage of that while it lasts. How can I request for a new copy of RFP to be mailed so I know what info I should provide? When contact your CIS and ask them to send that to you, or you may want to do a FOIA request, or best scenario, get your attorney to help you figure this out. All right, people. So does a filing of a motion to reopen after denial go to the same officer? Yes. So the motion to reopen is going back to the person who made the decision to see if you have provided new evidence. So for a motion to reopen, you've got to have new facts, new evidence. Motion to reconsider, it doesn't necessarily need new evidence, but you're saying that they made an error in your decision based on wrong application of facts and or law. But usually the motion will go to the same adjudicating officer. Do they need to divorce or annul the American spouse and remarry based on Araquini's question? That will be dependent on each state. That would depend on each state. So there's some states that if that's the case, then the marriage was never valid, meaning the current marriage. So that's a void marriage. And if it's a void marriage, some states do not require you to have an annulment first before you now remarry. So it's very state specific. In my state, instead of Alabama, you can go either way. I usually tell my clients that go through the annulment before you remarry, just so you don't have any issues with USCIs moving forward. But that is state specific. So thanks to everybody for joining me. Always. Hello, Miss Chrissy. Well, yeah, I can't, but I can't answer. I cannot. You can answer that, but I just can't. I can't reference anything that I do not know anything, because y'all don't understand something. Let me tell you something where I always say disclaimer. Whenever an attorney gives you information and you act on it without saying disclaimer, then you can say, "Hold on, no, but that's it. I don't represent you." So I've got to make it clear that there's no client attorney representation that's created through this forum. It's just legal suggestion. That's it. But let's keep going. August has been the month of favor. And I know that whoever is still waiting on God and God's favor, it is going to happen for you. I think the biggest challenge is being patient. And if you're, listen, I always tell people that when God was given the virtue of patience, I was missing. I was missing. So when I showed up, God was like, I'm just allowed today. Okay, bye. Just a little bit. But I'm learning to be more patient. Having kids would teach you patience for sure, but I'm still a work in progress. But the thing is, we can't rush when God is going to do his work. He's going to do things at his own time, because if he's going to do what we want when we want it, it's going to be incomplete. And he's a God of completion. It's got to be complete. It's got to be final, because that's when you get your full blessing. So I pray that we're all able to be patient and know that the one who created all of us, he's in complete control, and he knows what's best for us. You know, there's every blessing has its own season. You cannot take a blessing from a different season and mismatch it, or vice versa. So we would all, thank you. Just, it's easy. Sometimes you say, well, it's easy for you to say you don't give up on all that. No, it's not easy. I come from a place where I've been through, y'all don't even know. Sometimes when I think of something, I'm like, wow, yeah, I actually went through that. But knowing how that sustained me because of the grace of God, and many, many times we're trying to give up, but then I remember that his grace is sufficient. That keeps you going. And when you know that if it's not working, if it's not where you need to be right now, just accept where you are, with the understanding that God is still taking you on this journey, because you're going to get to that final destination. And so I pray that our final destination, that God gives us the patience to be able to endure until he takes us to where we really need to be. And the patience is wisdom itself. And I pray that we would all get to our final destination. I'll come together each and every time to rejoice with one another. And the best thing we can do for each other while we wait for what it is that we're expecting and praying to God for is to commit one another in prayer. Just pray for one another. Different people's usernames that we all come together each Tuesday and Thursday night. Just remember somebody and say a word of prayer for them. And in turn, you are also blessing your own life and sowing into your life as you sow into the lives of others. So I pray that God will meet us at the point of our needs, and we'll all have testimonies that will be bigger, much more bigger than our trials and tribulations. I'll see you guys next week. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye, everybody.